Hello BMW enthusiasts. My name is Steve Lyons and I have a 2004 330i ZHP Performance Package for sale, and the price of the vehicle is $10,250. I'm going to take a tour of the car through video to give you a much more in-depth look at what the vehicle's like, to include the pictures I posted. So this is a Titan Silver, as I said, 2004 BMW 330i ZHP. The paint is meticulous. Car's clay barred every year. I wax it 3 times a year, just to show you how smooth the paint is. It's just like glass through the whole body. I can't say the car is absolutely perfect. It is a driver's car, so there's going to be some things I'm going to point out, just from driving the car down the road, down the highway, taking it to work. I've had the car since 120,000 miles. It's been a fantastic car. I've thoroughly enjoyed driving this vehicle. I've done a lot of upgrades to the car, and I'm going to go over some of those upgrades in this video as well. As you can see, the paint, the shine, the depth of the paint. I wish I had a depth gauge to show you, but I mean, you can see just the reflections coming off that paint. It's just absolutely beautiful. This does have the stock ZHP wheels. I did put new M logos on the wheels as they were kind of fading. There's a little bit of curb rash on the wheels, nothing significant. I'm sure it'd be very cheap to fix. But again, it's a driver's car, so this isn't a concourse car, so I'm not trying to make it like a concourse car. However, with that said, what I do is I constantly put new parts on it before they break, and if there's a better aftermarket part that doesn't take away from the stockness of the vehicle, then I put that part on as well, and I'll go over some of that. Here's the rear tire. This is the passenger right rear. I think this was a new wheel because I think this is the one that I broke on a pothole. You can kind of see the little bit of scratches there. I mean, nothing specific. And again, it's a driver's car, so as you're going around, things are going to happen unless you keep it in the garage. And I wouldn't, this particular car, I wouldn't do that with. I would drive it and enjoy it and get as many years as you can of fun out of it. So the car is currently cold. I kept it cold to show a cold start. Here's the interior of the vehicle. I'm going to go thoroughly through that. You can see that I've changed out the interior. The interior was gray initially. It did have the dash is original. The I forget what they call it, that cubit trim, that kind of, that it's not carbon fiber, but it's whatever the ZHP package had, and I think the M3s might have had it too. I don't recall off the top of my head, but that's the original. And then what I did do is I went and got some seats off eBay. They were E63 M6 seats, and I wired those in, and these seats are fantastic. I mean, you just can't beat them. I don't remember how many points they are, and I'll show the function here in just a minute, but if you just look at the controls down here, there's quite a bit of different controls, plus the memory settings. You have 3 different memory settings, standard that most BMW seats do, but you know, I assume these are like either, I don't know, I'm gonna guess 13-way, 17-way. I have to look it up, so don't quote me and don't hold it against me. But I will tell you, if you look at the bolstering on those seats, when you corner in them, they keep you firmly planted in place, and you can really corner well with this car, and it's a lot of fun to do. And I did put in the ad that if it was me keeping the car, which I can't, I've got that guy over there that needs to be finished, and I've been working on restoring that vehicle. It's a 2005, and I'm a big fan of that vehicle, and so that vehicle is going to get a complete bumper-to-bumper refresh. It's probably about 80% right now. But back to this car, I did put these in because I wanted better seats. I didn't really like the E46 seats, no offense to anybody in the community, and I thought they made a huge world of difference. I'm going to go ahead and pop the hood, take on a tour of what's going on under here. So I've removed on this engine most of the weak points that are possible with aftermarket parts, and there isn't a lot, but there's some that, you know, will keep you stuck on the side of the road. And I do want to point out, if you notice, engine's absolutely cold, so I'm going to start this vehicle up in just a minute. But some things to point out: if you can look down here, you're going to see ECS tuning pulleys, and you can see the one there, and there's also another one off of, right down in the corner over there. Those are both metal pulleys. Lifetime pulleys, basically. You never have to replace them. It's like the old school BMW pulleys back from the days of E21, E28. It does have probably 2-year-old tensioners. All the other pulleys that aren't metal, which most of them are, have to go back and look here. So no, actually they are. So we got air conditioning pulley, metal, crank pulley, metal, power steering pulley right there, that's CCS tuning, metal, water pump pulley, metal. So the only pulleys that wouldn't be metal are the plastic ones that come with like the tensioners. So that's all been upgraded. Radiator, it's literally 4 months old maybe. And then the expansion tank as well, which you can see here. I think that is about 5 months old. I placed it right before that. Some things just to point out when you're looking to buy one of these vehicles, and maybe to use this video to help you with that, you really want to kind of look at like these boots and make sure there's no cracks or any type of wear there, because that's usually a huge intake vacuum problem, and that'll get you lean codes and other problems like that, and the engine won't run as well. And you'll notice on cold start when you have a vacuum leak, at least on these vehicles, it'll run a little rough. At least that's been my experience, since that's usually a vacuum leak, and every time it's been a vacuum leak. So take it a little further. This is brake booster hose, that's brand new. This hose goes underneath the intake manifold, brand new. There's a two-part piece, I think, if I remember right. It's been a while. The intake on the back, there's 3 vacuum caps. This vehicle, apparently, when they got to 2004, they capped off all of those extra vacuum functions, whatever they were, or the car didn't come with those functions, which I'm not sure what they were. But I did have a vacuum leak one time. I put brand new caps on there, so those are good. Inside the air box, it's a K&N filter. It's been on there for about 2 years, so you got quite a bit of time left with that before you have to recondition it. Oil change is done every 75,000 miles. I could pull the dipstick out. This, by the way, this is also something to point out. Brand new dipstick tube. I actually had a vacuum leak down there, and that's another long story. But there's a ring, a rubber ring that goes to the bottom of the dipstick tube, and that ring will, as time goes on, it's one of those consumable replaceable parts. Well, unfortunately, the dipstick tube got bent by a friend of mine when he was helping work on it, so I ended up buying a brand new dipstick tube. Who does that, right? Buys a new, but anyway, not bending it, but who buys a new one, right? But anyway, so I bought a new one, put the O-ring on it, solved that problem. I ran into issues when I had the car, which I'm sure a lot of you are running into, with the headlights. I thought I could fix them. I took them apart. The ballast, had that burn on the plastic on the backs. So I went and said, okay, no problem. I'll go get I forget what the Arcomos or whatever that brand is, that you can get the whole back piece. And when I took the headlights apart, and I did buy those parts, unfortunately, all the wiring was just, all the sheathing on the wiring was just shot. So I had to make a choice of, am I going to try to go through that spaghetti mess and fix all that, which is, I knew I could do it. It would just take a very, very long time, and I just didn't see the reward being worth it. So I decided to go buy Hella headlights, and these Hella headlights were about $2,000. They came from Germany. They're absolutely beautiful, and at night, the road is so bright, and when you hit the brights, I mean, nobody complains, oncoming traffic at you, nobody's like flashing or anything, but it's completely clear vision with them. I know some of you guys don't like the orange side markers. I happen to be one of those oddballs that absolutely loves the orange side markers, so that's why I got those with the orange. I also did put the Dynon strut bar on. I had a BMW Performance bar, and I actually prefer the Dynon bar. I feel like it's stiffer. I feel like it allows the car to corner harder, and so I decided to stay with that, and I sold the bar and put this Dynon. I sold the Performance bar and put the Dynon bar on. It does have a relatively new cabin air filter, which is this right here. Give you a tour of that. Now, something to point out, this will gray after heat is applied to it for so many drive cycles, so it's gonna gray. I just rubbed out kind of scratched off the gray, and it's back to black. But you can see in there, brand new cabin air filter, and that is a charcoal activated filter. It's actually not a BMW one. I get it at AutoZone, and I think it's like 25 bucks. All the seals, the rubber here was replaced a couple years ago. Tray's been perfect for the power lines. I did have a friend that was a master tech, used to be a master tech. He rerouted the power line for me for the power, so that's why you're seeing it here in what they call the drug box, I guess. But couldn't get the bar on, the BMW Performance bar, until I moved this. What's funny is then I went to the Dynon bar, didn't even need to move it anyway, if I recall right, but it's moved. It's been great there. And it looks completely stock, because he actually used to work at BMW, so he does a really good job on that. So that's kind of a tour of the engine bay. I'm trying to think what else to tell you in here. Okay, so life, actually, let me go through a few things. Thermostat's a couple years old, Radiator is 4 months old. We talked about the expansion tanks, 5 months old. The valve cover gasket is 2 years old, so that's good. You're not going to do anything there. Oil pan gasket is 2 years old. I actually did them at about roughly the same time. This oil line, I had a leak on this oil line, and it goes down underneath the intake manifold. That's all been replaced with I figured while I'm in there, I don't want to do it again. I don't want to replace the line later. I'm sure the line probably lasted way longer than I would have to worry about. However, you know, because it was probably, what, 2004 car, and I replaced it 2 years ago, so we're talking 14 years, I mean. But anyway, I replaced crush rings, placed a new line, and ran it underneath, and that's been fine. Crankcase ventilation is about 3 years old, all brand new CCV. And the reason why, actually, I'm sorry, let me take that back. It's actually 2 years old because when I took the intake off, I did everything under there that you had to do basically at the time. So coolant lines, the plastic coolant lines were done, and all the CCV was done at the exact same time. So nothing to worry about there. This is pretty much just solid driver car. You don't have to have too many other things to, well, actually, you don't have anything to do at the moment. You probably wouldn't have to do anything for about 40,000 more miles is what I believe. And then water pump, last piece of this I can think of. Water pump is what is that, Stewart, or whatever it's in my list of my ad. Whatever the metal water pump is, I could have sworn, I looked at them now, they're like 160 bucks or 180 bucks. I could have sworn when I bought it was like 400. So maybe they went way down in price, I don't know. But when I bought it, it was a very expensive water pump, and I tackled that and put that in there. I wanted that solid. So the only thing that I would probably do if it was me later on and you were going to keep this and want to be it, you know, extremely reliable, get rid of the radiator. And that's a big discussion out in the forums, right? Get rid of the radiator and put a metal radiator in. But again, you're probably going to get 4 or 5 years out of this radiator before the plastic sides will start having problems you got to replace. And I've noticed on the forums, people kind of oscillate back and forth on that discussion of, is it worth even spending the money on the metal radiator versus just replacing the radiator every 4 years? So you're good there for probably at least 4 years. I'm going to come back into the car. We're going to do, oh, probably should have left that open. Going to do a cold start. I'll go back under the hood and show you what that looks like. So you can see the interior of the vehicle. I'm in here. Nothing cracked, nothing broken. Everything's super, super clean, with the exception of nothing cracked, broken. I accidentally broke this mirror. I'm not going to open it too far, but I'm going to show you, as you can see, the cracks there. I didn't really plan on fixing that. I never use it. Didn't really care about it. We can discuss it if it's a big deal for you. Radiator's clean. That's the Alpine standard radiator. I'm sorry, radiator. Wow. Radio. Harman Kardon speaker system. Got the speaker on the floor there. A bigger, what is it? Probably like 5 1/4 forward, something, I don't remember. Got the tweeter, well, whatever that is, mid-range. Tweeter's up here. It's got kind of a sort of subwoofer in the back. It's all stock. I've never put any additional equipment tied to it. All the controls for the venting, the mechanical controls work perfectly here, so you can see we're switching between cold and hot. Nothing broken, nothing coming off. I can pull, everything's solid. This is open and closing the vents. Goes the same for these over here. Open and close the vents. Goes back and forth, no problem. Nothing coming apart, and the same over here. No sticky switches. Well, I say that, and they do get a little bit from the heat, but in general, I mean, they're solid. There's nothing breaking, nothing cracking. No Ferrari sticky switches here, right? And I don't know of any BMWs that really get sticky anyway. I did add on the auxiliary port. That was pretty easy to do. It comes down underneath into the cigarette ashtray. So I typically this open. I also have a radar detector that I mount on the window, and then I plug my radar detector in, and then I've got my stereo connection here, so my iPhone will connect in there. I did put a new ZHP knob on it. You can see here, plus I put the Alcantara boot. Got a new one there, and that was probably about a year ago. I don't remember, I'd have to go back in my records, but one of these switches, and I don't remember, I might have replaced both, but I know I did one of them because one of them quit working. Just to show you, let's see where the keys are. Actually, all of the switches work perfectly. There's no issue there. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn the car on. You can see here, all the lights are coming on, fans coming on. I'm gonna roll down the windows, or roll up the windows, sorry. Window regulators have been replaced in the front. I'm just kind of recalling this as a kind of going through things here. So the window regulators are replaced in the front. Nothing cracking, nothing broken. as your typical window regulators will do when they start getting old. You can see there that one works perfectly. Sunroof works perfectly. It's got a new headliner in the vehicle. I'm going to show you that as well. Okay, we're going to go ahead and close that. Show you the windows over here. No cracks. You see everything's very, very smooth. I'm going to go ahead and close this off. Sunroof is closed. Just to give you a quick view of the, let me turn off this fan. I'm sorry about that. It's hot out, so I got auto on and the air conditioning wants to crank up and the car's not on. You can see the headliner, absolutely brand new. That was, I actually redid that myself. I put a new centerpiece on there because the car, you know, everything basically carpeted in here. I put new on, so that new centerpiece up there that does the controls for the sunroof is new. Switches are original. That piece in the center is new, and then also that piece right there in the back for the upper rear brake light, that's new. I'll show you that. There's the brake light, and then the fabric that covers that, or the piece that covers that, is new. Car's very clean inside. I also did add BMW all-weather floor mats, and underneath the car, you know, there's very clean. You can see the carpet's very nice, very clean. I mean, there's a couple of spots. Like I said, it's a driver's car, so it's not absolutely perfect, but again, it's not concourse. We're gonna go ahead and fire it up from cold start. See, the vehicle's just very smooth. No vacuum leaks. Engine's running very strong. It's got a lot of life left in it. I would bet you get another 200, 250,000 at least before you'd have to ever do, if not more. I've heard these things run quite a long time if they're taken care of. I have put, you see it's still cold, so I can still touch it, but it's warming up. I have put Castrol European 040. BMW had the long life 01 rating. That's the oil I went with. My understanding is that rating is no longer valid, if I'm accurate, because it's kind of outdated for BMW. So now they have LL04. But I don't know. I'm not going to get an oil discussion. I just say that I'm staying with the LL01 stuff if people still have the same formula. I had jugs of the Castrol. I'm on my last jug actually, and this car every 7,500 miles has had an oil change with that Castrol. See, that should cover everything in the vehicle. I also did, just to tell you, this piece is new. This piece here is new. This center piece here is new. The switches were new as of, I think, about 2 years ago, if I remember right. So all this is here because, what, you know, as you guys have seen probably in your cars, this gets all scratched up. It's just a covering over the plastic, and you know, you can repaint it, and I have the paint, but I guess I got lazy. I don't know. Back seats, I got a set of E46 seats out of a yard, and I stuck those in. They were really, really good shape, as you can see. So I popped those in. I used to have the third, this was all gray seats inside. So when I got the black seats, it just kind of looked funny with the front M6 seats with the gray back seats. There was a third headrest with the older seats, and that's not on the set of seats I have. One thing also I'll point out, I think is really kind of cool. The M6 seats, this is an M car from a performance package, right? It's not M3, but it is an M car. And one of the things that's really kind of cool is these M6 seats have a little M logo on them. I wish it had some color, but it doesn't. It'd be cool if they had the standard, like the M color pattern, but they don't. But it looks really cool, so I thought that was kind of neat. I'm still cleaning up the vehicle. I would put car parts in the back, so you can see my dirty rag there. I've got to clean this. Sorry, it's a mess. Got to clean that. So I'm going to put that piece back up there, and that's happening today. But anyway, that is a tour of the vehicle. And if you have any questions, let me know. It's a fantastic car. Whoever does get the car is going to really enjoy it. It's going to run a very, very long time for them. I really highly doubt you're going to do any type of additional work. I should also point out Bosch Icon wipers, and this was a new cowl as of a couple of years ago as well. So thanks for watching the video. I will do another video driving the car, what it's like to drive it in it, and what it's like to look from an outside view as it's driving by. Thanks again. Hope you have a great day.